So we're finally here. This is one of the best times in the NBA season, I'd say. Well, off season technically, where it's just, trades going down, rumors all around the league, and things of that nature. But one of the teams that's just been hot with the trades and everything is the Boston Celtics. So they ended up trading Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis today. I don't know the gist of both trades. I think Drew Holiday and Anferneesimons was just a straight up flip for one another. And Kristaps involved a lot of draft capital and a few players. And I know the Celtics got back Georges Niang. But yeah, that's just the gist of, what the Celtics have done so far in the trade market. So obviously the main reason Boston had to do this was simply because they were in that second apron. Like, they were in danger of getting affected by that second apron. And as we all know, the second apron is just, very bad for your team. I think it involves... I'm not too informed on, the gist of, contracts and how money works and all that in the NBA. But I know one of the things of the second apron is that your draft pick gets taken away, I think, every year that you're not in it. And you get, heavily taxed in the second apron, I believe. So yeah, Boston just had to find a way to get themselves out of that situation. And the thing is, before the Tatum injury, they were willing to go through that, being in the second apron and paying the consequences for being in the second apron. I think even if Tatum didn't get injured, we probably would have seen, probably the same trades happen because Drew Holiday, he's still a very quality player, but he's not $35 million a year quality. He's getting paid over $120 million a year for the next 3 years, I believe. I think his contract was 35 a year or something crazy like that. And Porzingis, he's just not available like that anymore. He's still a great player, borderline all-star, but you're not really getting the same production out of him simply because he's just always out of the lineup for very long stretches. A 40-year-old Al Horford is way more durable than I've seen Porzingis be throughout his Celtics tenure. So yeah, I just see these moves as the Celtics just making sure that they're under that tax bracket so they don't get affected by the second apron. I believe now they're $4.5 million under the second apron, which is pretty good. Not still pretty bad scenario, not really where you want to be. But it's way better than being $20 million over the second apron and getting those clauses and all that affected. But these two trades for the Celtics were definitely just revamp moves, I think. They just want to, make sure they were under the second apron. And, they got back some pretty decent pieces. I do think Anferneesimons is a contributing player for the Celtics. Going into next year, they're going to need a scoring punch. Tatum's missing. That's your 30-point per game guy. And I'm pretty confident Anferneesimons can fill that role. He's hovers around 20 to 22 and a half points per game. He's very streaky. His efficiency is 42%. I've seen it around that for his career. But he's a pretty solid player. He created his own shot off the dribble. He could hit the three pretty reliably. He's a pretty decent playmaker, and I think he complements the Celtics pretty well. Jaylen Brown's obviously going to be the number one guy, and I wouldn't be surprised in late game scenarios, you go to a guy like Anferneesimons that could just get a bucket for you and just score really quick. Not to say that the Celtics don't have that already. You have Derek White, and we're probably going to see his offensive role just take a leap. I wouldn't be surprised if he's a dark horse all-star coming into next year. But yeah, Anferneesimons definitely provides a scoring punch. And Georges Niang, he's a pretty solid 3-and-D guy. I see him gain some minutes here and there for the Celtics. And, he's just been pretty reliable in every destination he's been at, basically. But yeah, I do think the Celtics are still a playoff team. I wouldn't be surprised if they're a top 5 seed. The East is just going to be wide open next year. Just looking at the landscape of the East, there's really not that much discrepancy between too many teams. It's just anybody could get those 1 through 8 spots. I think obviously the Knicks and the Cavs are probably going to be competing for that 1 and 2 seed, and then everyone just falls after that. I think the Magic might clinch a 3rd seed, But these are just really early playoff predictions. We haven't seen what other teams are going to do with the trades and all that. But, this is just like a early scene of what the landscape might look like in the Eastern Conference for the next season. But yeah, this is just a quick video about the Celtics and the trades they made. I think it's just a little revamp, and obviously they want to get under that tax bracket of the second apron. But yeah, if you like this content, just comment, subscribe. Tell me your thoughts about the trades or trades that you've seen so far. I'm going to definitely make a video about other teams, and just a lot of content is going to come out since it's the off season. And yeah, I'll catch y'all next time.